A silent, deadly night. A single, delicate snowflake, a tiny masterpiece of ice and air, pirouettes down from the inky canvas of the night sky. It drifts on the gentle breath of the winter breeze, a silent messenger of the cold, until it finally alights on the frosted windowsill of Suzie Johnson's bedroom. Inside, Suzie stirs beneath the warm cocoon of her blankets, a faint shiver tickling her skin. The chill, a subtle whisper of winter's presence, begins to rouse her from sleep. She burrows deeper under the covers, seeking the lingering warmth, when a soft, almost ethereal chime of bells reaches her ears. She cautiously peeks out from under the blankets, her senses alert. The sound, delicate and enchanting, seems to emanate from beyond her bedroom door. She hears it again, a faint jingle, and a spark of childlike curiosity ignites within her. Throwing back the covers, she slips her feet into her fluffy pink slippers and, bypassing her waiting robe, tiptoes out of the room. The hallway is shrouded in the pre-dawn darkness. She pauses at the top of the stairs, straining to hear the elusive bells once more. A brief silence hangs in the air. Then, emboldened by the lingering magic of the night, she descends the stairs, her heart filled with a mixture of anticipation and wonder. She explores the downstairs, her eyes scanning the familiar furniture, the soft glow of the Christmas tree lights reflecting off polished surfaces. Everything is in its place, undisturbed. She even peers under the tree, half expecting to find a mountain of presents, but it remains bare. Disappointment flickers across her face. Suzie retraces her steps to the bottom of the stairs, listening one last time for the enchanting sound. Silence is all that's heard. With a sigh, she resigns herself to the reality of an uneventful night and trudges back to the warmth of her bed. She snuggles under the covers, pulling them tightly around her small frame, and turns onto her side, ready to drift back to sleep. Suddenly, the chimes ring out again, louder this time, more insistent. Suzie sits bolt upright in bed, her eyes wide with excitement. Then she hears it, a distinct thumping on the roof. "Santa!" she exclaims, her voice a hushed whisper of pure joy. She leaps out of bed, ignoring her slippers this time, and flies down the stairs, taking them two at a time in her haste. Rounding the corner into the living room, she sees him. Santa, hunched over, is busily stuffing presents under the Christmas tree. Overwhelmed with happiness, Suzie runs towards him and throws her arms around his ample belly, her giggles echoing through the room. She squeezes him tightly, her small body vibrating with excitement. Santa chuckles, a deep rumble in his chest, and pats her back. Then, in a swift, unexpected movement, he grasps the nape of her neck and, with surprising strength, lifts her into the air by the roots of her hair. Suzie, suspended in midair, stares into his face, her eyes wide with surprise. She gazes at his soft, round features, the familiar twinkle in his eyes. But as she looks, a chilling transformation begins to unfold. The corners of Santa's mouth curl upwards into a grotesque, menacing grin. Sharp, yellowed fangs erupt from his gums, pushing past his lips. His face elongates, the rosy cheeks paling into a sickly white, covered in coarse, dark hairs. The jolly red hood begins to rise from his scalp, revealing two long, curved horns sprouting from his temples. "Ah!" Suzie screams, her voice a strangled cry of terror. "Santa, no, something," clamps a large, hairy hand over her mouth, silencing her. "Shh," he whispers, his voice now a guttural rasp. "What's wrong with you, Santa? You're ugly." Suzie manages to muffle through his hand. Now, the creature hisses. "That's no way to treat Krampus on Christmas morning." Suzie's eyes widened in dawning horror. Her mouth hangs open in disbelief. I'm such a horrible girl," she stammers, tears welling up in her eyes. I don't deserve presents. Take them back. Krampus, his eyes gleaming with a malicious delight, nods slowly. He turns and, with unsettling speed, gathers all the presents from under the tree, stuffing them back into his large, red sack. He stalks towards the chimney, then pauses, turning back to the trembling child. He reaches out and snatches one of the cookies left out for Santa. "No milk?" Suzie asks, her voice barely a whisper. Krampus sneers. He stalks back towards Suzie, his heavy footsteps echoing on the wooden floor. "I don't like nosy children," he growls, "and I certainly don't like milk. I prefer children's blood." He bends down, his face inches from Suzie's, and grasps her shoulder with a clawed hand. His jaw begins to unhinge, stretching impossibly wide. He leans forward, his monstrous maw slowly enveloping Suzie's head. With a sickening crunch, he bites down, severing her head from her spine. Blood gushes upwards, a dark crimson fountain spraying into his throat. Suzie's small body slumps to the floor, the crimson stain spreading across the festive rug beneath the Christmas tree. Krampus licks his lips, savoring the taste of blood, and wipes his fingers clean. He turns back towards the chimney, the gruesome scene behind him. He picks up another cookie. Then, as he begins to ascend the chimney, the demonic features begin to recede, the monstrous form slowly morphing back into the familiar shape of Santa Claus. He reaches the top of the chimney and, with a final, chilling transformation, emerges onto the snow-covered roof. He climbs into his waiting sleigh, the reindeer pawing the air impatiently. He snaps the reins, and the sleigh lurches forward, lifting off the ground and soaring into the swirling snow. As the sleigh disappears into the distance, the first flakes of a new blizzard begin to fall, covering the grisly scene below in a fresh blanket of white. The end.